What's up, and welcome back to the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Hi, Tim. I like your sweatshirt.
Thank you. Got it from Smosh. It's a YouTube company. You might have heard of them.
I've heard of him once or twice.
Once or twice, baby. Speaking of once or twice, the two-time key to my heart, the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
I think we're gonna go with two-time Kind of Funny champion.
Are you?
I think
Oh,
you're
yeah, I
just
guess
the longest
technically you
running
are.
Kind of
two-time,
Funny
yeah.
champion.
I am two-time,
yeah,
yeah.
At
And
this
I've
point,
had the
you
belt
are.
for about 2 decades.
I was gonna say
What-
you should have put it on the line for the Mario Golf thing, but I was like, oh, that's too much pressure. But I mean, shit, we all
We
know
don't
how
have,
that
we don't
is.
have the belt. I mean, why would I put the belt on the line for a game that I'd never played before, Tim? That's crazy.
It
It is
is
against
crazy.
somebody who had it for at least a year at this point. Crazy, yeah.
Mhm.
Who
We've
would've
been
thought?
talking a lot about this. We hyped it up a lot last week. Of course, we have the new face of video games, Blessing Adeoye.
I like your sweatshirt, Tim.
Thank you. Got it from Smosh. It's a YouTube channel. What can you give everyone that doesn't know what happened last Friday an update on what happened from your perspective?
Oh my God, yeah, from my perspective. Well, there's this video game host a lot of people know as Greg Miller, aka Game Over Greggy. He hosts a few podcasts, a few shows that some people watch every now and then. And over the last few weeks, this guy, Game Over Greggy, has been talking a lot of shit. You know, he's been coming through. He's been laying down the smack talk. He's been talking real big about how he's gonna defeat some fools in a game called Mario Golf. And it's crazy because he's actually been playing the game over the last few weeks as he's had a review code, which is pretty wild. And then this last Friday, it actually went down on stream where we played some games, or we played a game of Mario Golf, right? It was me, it was Greg, it was Andy Cortez, and it was Snow Michael.
Yeah.
And somebody named Greg Miller did not come out on top.
Yeah.
And it's wild,
They-
Bless, because he
Wyatt story.
that guy Greg, who obviously had the game for a long time, only beat you by 2 strokes, which is wild.
It's
Like,
wild.
You would
Yeah.
have thought that it would have been a blowout on you and Mike's end, who don't play a whole lot of golf games, and I'm pretty familiar with a lot of golf games.
Hold
but-
on. I play a lot of golf games.
Oh,
I
you
don't
do?
take it
Really?
that
Oh,
far.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I love golf. I just don't play Tiger Woods golf. All the arcadey
Sure.
golf games I do play.
Sure, okay. Yeah, well, anyway, I mean, yeah, that guy fucking sucks so bad. And was just ahead the whole time. It was so like, here's the thing, Tim, it was just kind of a boring victory because there wasn't a whole lot of excitement. The lead was never in danger. I was never worried at any point. It was just like, I don't know. It's like when a team is up by 20 in basketball and they never lose the 20-point deficit. It's like, well,
That's
there's
the
not a whole
crazy
lot of
thing
excitement here.
is that
Pretty
it was
boring.
it was a slow burn where
Yeah.
toward the beginning it could have been anybody's game, and then as
Yeah.
we got further and further, Andy just started getting more and more eagles.
You make one mistake.
birdies.
You make one mistake against me,
Yeah.
Tim. You're gonna regret it for the rest
And
of your
Greg
life.
was making more and more pars and bogeys.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like
He beat me by 2 strokes, Blessing. The whole fucking concept you're saying doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't know, man. I remember it differently.
Thank
Apparently.
you, Blessing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
crazy-
you
what's
can
crazy
go
too
check
is-
it out.
crazy
YouTube.com
too
/ kind of funny plays.
Is that it was my first. Andy had played a little bit of the game. It was my first time playing.
I had
Like,
played an
I did-
hour and a half. Let's be clear. I'd played an
Yeah.
hour and a half.
But I didn't even know the buttons, and
That's
I still almost beat Greg also, and so it's pretty
I
wild
also
how
had
that
to
happened.
Greg.
I also made a big mistake on stream saying that like blue was like downhill, but red was whatever. Like I was just making a mistake, and then everybody in the YouTube comments, Tim, are focusing on that error. Focus on the big victory, guys. Give me a fucking break, Jesus.
Hell yeah.
Give
Christ,
them the
Tim.
dub.
You
know what
expect
I'm
me to
talking
get a facts right and also win? No,
No, it's one or the other. It's one or the other. That's how it works.
Speaking of big events, I do want to shout out. Right now, we're on the eve, as we're recording this, of Blessing's super fun game release calendar 2021. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It all kicks off tomorrow. As of the time we're recording, of course, we're recording this on June 29th. Tomorrow is June 30th. That's when the first release of Blessing's super fun game release calendar starts with Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Make sure you all get on that. I have the schedule. I'm gonna pin it on my Twitter for people.
I
who
thought
like
you were gonna
keep
go
up.
with a different Eve.
You know,
Oh, it's also
Blessing,
Tim's
could-
birthday Eve. It's also
Oh,
Tim's
I thought
birthday
you were
Eve.
on Parasite. I thought you were finally going to do it on stream. Yeah, but it is my birthday eve. Show some fucking respect, Bless. Your birthday eve's coming in a couple days, and we
Hell yeah.
will treat you like a goddamn king. The king that you are. But this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Enough about all that stuff. Actually, one more thing. Not only can you watch Greg Miller get beat on youtube.com / kind of funny plays, you can also watch a 20-minute video of him sitting in silence while everyone makes fun of him for how bad he lost, which is just
The chat
awesome.
was great. The
It's
chat
just
was-
fucking awesome.
Chat
You
was
can go watch
fantastic.
that.
So yeah, go subscribe over there. A lot of people still don't even really know the channel exists. Go watch the Kind of Funny Plays channel. That's where all of our YouTube or all of our Twitch VODs are put up. You can watch me destroying Greg. You can watch me and Nick doing a KFAF of ranking Arizona teas. There's all sorts of fun stuff over there.
Lots of fun stuff over there. YouTube.com/kindafunny/kindafunnygames/kindafunnyplays. It's a trifecta of fun. But this is on the Games channel because this is Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every week, we get together, talk about video games and all the things that we love about them. You can get it at the aforementioned YouTube.com/kindafunnygames, or you can get it on roosterteeth.com if you want it as a podcast. Search your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny Gamescast, and we'll be right there for you. If you want to get the show ad-free, if you want to watch the show live as it's being recorded, and most importantly, if you want the exclusive Patreon post show, you're going to want to be on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like our Patreon producers, Donovan Harkness, Omega3, Tyler Ross. Oh, speaking of that, Barrett, I caught up on Bad Batch. We're going to have to talk about that later. Delaney Twinning, Julian the Gluten-Free Gamer, James Hastings, Casey Andrew, and Elliot. Thank you all so very much. Because of their support, they won't have to hear the ads that we're going to talk about later for Upstart, Credit Karma, and Freshly, but everyone else will. So until we get there, Greg, I want to give you the floor for a second. If you had any words you wanted to say, because ESPN always gives everybody a chance to talk. I think
the losers got to talk too.
I actually don't know that as a fact at all, but I assume that would be a nice thing to do.
I came out and I was overconfident. I thought the fact that I've beaten Andy so many times easily at everybody's golf would translate immediately to Mario's golf. But as it turns out, of course, everybody's golf is an actual complex adult game that you need to think about. And Mario Golf is a child's toy, a lot like Mario Party, where random people can just win,
Here come the excuses. Here come the
He just asked me for the excuses.
No, usually
I've been sitting here for a week eating shit, Andy, quietly eating my shit. What do you want me to do?
I love it because it's so rare that we have Greg at this moment, and I love that everyone's just like, "Oh, we're not gonna let our arm up." No, it's just pushing, and we just see him. He's not breaking in a real way, but there's the little cracks. It's like, I didn't fucking birdie. It's like, oh shit. Anyways, there's a lot of winners and losers that we need to talk about.
We need to rematch. We need to get back out there. We need to get back out there. We were talking about everybody's golf too. And I'm not even doing it. Andy beat me. He beat me. Don't worry. But everybody's golf we should get back into too.
Either way, I'm down. You say the name. Here's the thing. You've been playing Sea of Thieves at night a lot.
I have.
Chill out. All right, the high seas can wait.
I want to hear all about that, Andy. We're going to on this episode. I want to save that though. Okay, because first and foremost, I want to talk about more winners and losers because, of course, every year we do our E3 predictions, our patented official E3 bets and predictions here on Kind of Funny Games. And then the homie, C_Anon over on our subreddit will compile all the answers. And the winners and losers and dole out the points and all that stuff. The problem this year and last year is that there wasn't just an E3, it's the whole summer game mess situation and stuff. But the way we did our predictions doesn't have too much effect there. We made a lot of predictions that have already passed the date at this point. There are still a couple hangers on. We'll have to revisit this if there's any major game change-ups. But I'm feeling like we're fairly locked in at this point. So we're going to give the results so far, at least talk about some of the interesting things. Before we get into that, though, he also combined all of our grades that we gave E3 as a whole. Do you have the link to this, Barrett? The grades? Okay, thank God. It's hard to read that. But anyways, he took all of the grades that we gave, all the different showcases, and then combined them to give each showcase its own grade. So overall, we gave E3 a C. How do you guys feel about that?
I feel good about that. I think that's accurate. Yeah. I don't think this was a terrible E3 by any means. I know a lot of people have a lot of shit to say about this E3, which I think, can be fair. But for me, I got enough out of it in terms of the big guys having a lot to say in terms of Microsoft and Nintendo, them laying out what the rest of this year looks like for them and what some exciting highlights for the years to come look like. I got enough out of that. Plus a lot of really cool under the radar, low key games that either caught me by surprise or got me more interested than I was before. Like Death's Door is one that I'm definitely going to play now because of E3. And then you have games like Back for Blood reinforcing the fact that they're Back for Blood, and I know getting us all re-excited for it, along with things like Guardians of the Galaxy, which came out of nowhere that I think sold a lot of us on the game. That, of course, like isn't necessarily the big, I guess, like most exciting thing ever, right? It's not a Final Fantasy VII remake. It's not a Kingdom Hearts 3, but I think there was enough there in terms of your Tiny Tinas, your Elden Rings and stuff like that, to where it was not a bad E3 by any means. I think it was perfectly fine.
I think that's a little low. I would give it like a B minus at the lowest. I know we had some real big snoozers in there, but you can't let those get you down. Like, right, we can't treat Koch Media and Gearbox like the way we treat negative comments, because there's plenty of other really good comments that sometimes we scroll past because we look for the ones that are talking shit about us specifically. Like, I just because those were kind of snoozers, I think that Nintendo brought the heat. I think Microsoft brought the heat. And of course, we got Elden Ring, which Blessed already mentioned. But I think this would have been even higher if EA Play was a part of this. And if we would have, like, for me at least, we would have gotten probably a newer look at Dragon Age 4, or maybe another hint or tease at the new Mass Effect. I would give it a B minus. Go ahead, Greg Miller.
Kind of funny world champion Andy Cortez. The question I have for you is this: do you think that there were more lows than highs, or was it that the lows were lower than the highs were higher? Do you think that's part of it? Because I do think at this point, having the conversation in like a C sounds about right or whatever. We can go through, obviously, in Xbox and Nintendo, I think were so fantastic, but then you do have your Coach Media, you do have Gearbox, you do have PC Gamer shit. Like, I think you start getting into more and more things, even Ubisoft to an extent, right? Where it was like, okay, nothing was like blowing us away. Nothing was like completely out of left field.
I think now we just sort of know. I think this was sort of a good year to learn and know what shows to fully cover, because we just got to understand we're not going to get bangers in every conference. We can't go to PC Gamer Show and be like, all right, let's see what sort of huge surprises they're going to be. It's going to be a lot of stuff we've already seen and stuff that'll release on Steam and then never get talked about ever again. Like, that's a lot of what the PC Gamer Show was. Day of the Devs was a huge highlight for me, so that also boosts up the overall E3 for me.
I like Freedom Games a lot too. I talked about that a lot in terms of some of the stuff they had. I like them putting the devs front and center, and I really like that dog simulator.
Freedom Games. Gorilla? Or
no. Freedom Games. They had you guys. I don't know if you reacted to it. I have a bit of a different perspective because I watched everything, obviously, for hosting E3.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was still big enough announcements to not feel like this is just a passing grade and it's okay. It made me excited in a lot of the different conferences, so it gets a B minus from me.
Yeah, we're not grading it. It's an average. Like, this is these are the facts here.
It's wrong. Yeah,
you've already graded Andy.
Yes, it is. But yeah, it's interesting to look at it that the 1A+ with Microsoft and Bethesda, and 2 Fs, both Koch and Gearbox.
Because we got to weigh them. They need to be weighted.
But see the problem. See, Andy, and I don't want to go on too long about this, but my thing is, I agree with you. They need to be weighted, but I think that there's a lot of what we're seeing here is we're being weighted down a lot by the Ubisofts and Capcoms
and Gearbox
and Gearboxes that are like, those should be higher. You know what I mean? Whereas like a lot of the indie ones getting the A's and B pluses, it's like, hey, shout out to them. That's fantastic.
Those shouldn't exist.
But the thing is, they do though, and that's why I think E3 overall gets a C, because they do exist. And you saying, oh, now we know what not to react to. With the way E3 is being presented, I don't know if we're ever going to go back to just doing the banger ones, just because it is just one long thing that we're doing. There's like fun to be had, even just hanging out, even if we are just talking shit about it, right? Like this year, I think more than anything, it turned into just us being the
just
fun
exhausted
part.
on camera.
It's bad or exhausted, depending on how you want to look at it. But anyways, moving on to the predictions here. Currently, the one major note,
because this ain't over, everybody.
This ain't over. This ain't over.
This isn't over like the Gamescast League that I've already won. Thank you very much.
Oh, you've not already won that.
It's over.
Oh, I'm on your team.
I might have a comeback. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Tim.
You're not even in. You're already playing for 2022.
I love your enthusiasm, and I told you not to draft Gotham Knights, and there are a lot of other games you shouldn't have drafted on there. But you know what? I love your enthusiasm for hype.
Do I just get this list for next year, though? Is that how that works?
No, you have
No, you got to
read
redraft everything.
Funny.com/Gamescast.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. Congratulations.
If your list was a 2022 list, you would have won.
Exactly.
You'd be in a great place.
But
But Greg, Mario Golf is the thing that kind of has me having a lot of hope over here. Because I don't know if you've seen those reviews.
I put up 4 points. I put up 4
not in
points.
your favor.
Yeah. Don't worry. You're gonna have one of those. You'll have one of those in there.
We'll see.
So
I mean, No More Heroes 3
is a bet has already been lost by Greg Miller because Greg Miller now owes Andy Cortez a pizza. Not only was he beaten golf, he now has to buy this young man a pizza. Why? Andy versus Greg. Does the Switch Pro get announced before E3? Andy says no. Greg says yes. So there you go.
Eat it while I'm eating that pizza, Greg.
All right, just let me know when you want the pizza.
It's not Greg's week, man. But
Greg's life.
Then moving on, the scores after E3 so far. Coming in fourth and last place is Tim Gettys, with 1.6.
Shut the fuck
You remember, I had a lot of wild predictions this year, but 1.6. That's not an excuse. I like to play this game.
You had a lot of wild ones, Tim. I had a lot of uninformed predictions.
The Andy Cortez way. Coming in at third, we have Greg Miller with 2 points.
Are you fucking
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm playing the long game here. There's a whole season of predictions still happening here. Don't worry about it. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah,
This is not like the
don't
Gamescast
forget.
league.
Yeah.
Don't worry, blessing.
Once Gamescom is over, that's when we gotta actually
Opening night live.
Yeah,
is
opening
the
night
end.
live. Yeah.
Yes,
What's that?
yeah.
October or August or what is it?
That's August. It's always August.
It's like
August
late
24th.
Yeah.
August 24th. So, coming in at second place with 2.5 points, Andy Cortez. Which makes the current number one Blessing.
Stop doubting me, people. All right.
2.8 points. You are 0.3 above Andy, dude.
Let's
It is
fucking
anyone's
go.
game at this point, except probably not mine, but it is any of your games, which is very exciting stuff. As a bonus prediction on Kind of Funny Games Daily, Blessing predicted that 15 to 20% of Gamescast predictions would be correct. Currently, it's already at 22.5%.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Pretty good.
I am flabbergasted. I would have, as we sat there through E3, I felt like I was just like, oh, there's another one wrong for me, and I just kept on counting them down. So I did not expect to be anywhere close to third place.
Well, you got a couple solid ones based on opposing predictions, and you just took the other side, like the controller ID thing. You're like, there will be control ID, it will not be elite, and so you won. So you get that full last point. Mm-hmm.
Gamer.
Pro gamer right there. But Greg made a prediction that The Rock will be revealed as the foundation with the new season, with movie tie-ins and all this stuff. But he did make a specific date prediction there of June 7th. So that didn't happen. He could still get partial credit, though, if it ends up happening before.
You know it will.
Some other interesting things here are the deep dive of Everwild that I said y'all motherfuckers were crazy for. That wasn't there, but it could be shown later at some point. I still don't think it's going to.
Oh, it's definitely not now.
Dude, no, not at all.
Not at all.
Blessing got a point for the announcement of Final Fantasy Origin, and he said no release date with the demo for the summer. It was released. We got the demo right there. So
Hell yeah.
boom. And then I got one for Outer Worlds 2 being announced.
Oh, wow.
Which
feel
still
really good
shocks
about.
me.
which I
That was
feel
a really good
about.
guess.
Then Blessing got confirmed no for the Devil May Cry anime trailer, but we got some dope shit instead of that. Now here's one that I want to contest. And at this point,
you can't. You've given your credit. You said this is the thing. You said, you know what? C_Anon. This is all you.
At this point, I feel bad because I don't want to just keep bringing Greg Miller down. But here we go. Greg Miller got a point for not a fucking peep about Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. We got one. We got a peep. Them saying it's not going to be
peep saying there wouldn't be a peep.
Huh?
The peep saying there wouldn't be a peep?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, a peep is like them bringing the game up as existing.
No. A peep was saying anything about a release date, any kind of playthrough, any kind of trailer, any
it
kind of
doesn't-
No,
That's
you would have had to been
Andy's got it right
specific
there.
about that, Greg. They did technically make a peep.
But either way, I'm just saying.
The
I'll
point's
play
the
the-
point. You
Good
can't
job.
argue with the point. We don't have edit access to this Google Doc we're all looking at.
I feel like
I
that should be a
actually-
half point. I think that should
actually
be a
did.
half point.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you're not grading it. You know what I mean? You could have
Fair,
graded it,
that's
Bless,
fair.
but you didn't do it.
What does
very
the
fair.
P pariah say? The P pariah says half a point. Sorry, Greg.
I also have another point of contention. Andy got a point for saying not a peep about Beyond Good and Evil at Ubisoft Forward. But he kept saying, and we'll all say, "Where's Beyond Good and Evil?" at the same time. We didn't do that, everybody.
No, I think we did. Didn't we? I think
We all said it at the same time. We all did, yeah.
Yeah,
we
all
actually
did,
all
'cause Andy
did.
teed it up.
Only because I mentioned it.
That counts. He got you.
There we fucking go. But moving on. Just all pretty normal stuff. The Elden Ring trailer and all that. But Andy got 0.5 there because he said it was coming in October, but it is actually going to be next year in January.
Can you imagine, though? I think
Think-
October is a better date. I should get more points for that.
Oh man, October's insane. I don't know if you've seen Blessing's super fun summer 2021 game release calendar.
Sorry, my
October's
computer
crazy.
crashed trying to open up that file.
October's
big.
crazy though. If you're able to open it, you'd see.
So it's a lot of interesting things there. You can go check out the doc on our subreddit. I'm also going to leave a description or a link in the description below. Thank you so much, Cianon, for doing this every year. We really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. Keep it updated. We'll keep checking in and see if Greg Miller can make the comeback of a century with some of his Greg Miller patented gold.
Already dominated in Gamescast League. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
That's all we need. Yeah, just needs to win
Yeah,
one thing.
I'm on your ass in that league.
Whatever.
Another
Another release
note-
Horizon. Horizon ain't coming this year, you coward.
Yeah, but they're gonna announce that it doesn't have a release date. Then I can finally drop it and just get something else.
Mm-hmm,
It's gonna be great.
Another note is that none of our get hyped modifiers have come true yet. And that also all of the post show just leftover predictions we made, none of them would have been scored so far because we predicted stuff that wouldn't have happened yet. So there we go.
I think one of my get hype modifiers was that for the Final Fantasy Origin Stranger of Paradise game, it would get revealed, and after we get the demo, we would get previews written up saying that this was the Elden Ring killer. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's not gonna happen.
Andy, I want to talk about some video games. I want you to tell me about this Lego Builder's Journey. Because I saw a clip that you posted of you tearing up.
Everybody's crying out here playing this game.
Fucking the ray tracing was just too much for your little eyes to handle. And I feel you, because what the hell? This game is beautiful, but what is it?
So I didn't know that it existed until I think I saw Jeff Grubb tweet about it. And Lego Builder's Journey came out on iOS and Mac in 2019. And it was just sort of only a game you could play there. But recently, it had a re-release on Switch. They ported it to Switch and PC, I believe. I think those are the only two platforms. But on PC, you get full ray tracing. Carrot in my throat.
Too much carrots. I knew. He said, Andy, tell me about some video games. You were just taking a bite out of that big orange beast. And now you got the little chunks back there. Like barnacles on the back of your throat. I hate it.
Yeah, carrot in my throat. It is full ray tracing. DLSS is in there. A carrot in my throat.
Oh no.
I had a carrot. It's just a little crumb.
Fair, get the vacuum cleaner and go in there.
The problem is when you breathe.
Vacuum cleaner.
Why do I need the
They're too
vacuum
small.
cleaner
You
to
can't do
perform
Heimlich on a piece of
CPR?
carrot. Baby little pieces of carrot.
Just,
Yeah, it's
just
gotta
shove the
shove
tube thing down his throat.
Yep.
Suck it
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Okay.
I got a carrot in my throat.
All right.
It's in the wrong
Andy,
pipe.
you need to hold on for like a couple minutes before I come save you because the fridge is coming in. And I'm pretty sure we're separated right now.
You know what fucked me up a few weeks ago? You remember the hot sauce that we got from Outriders?
Sure.
That was like the really, really hot sauce.
Yeah.
I started eating that casually with some wings a few weeks ago. And similarly, it went down the wrong pipe. And I thought I was going to die. I have never choked and have had that much chest pain ever while eating in my life. I was on the floor dying.
Okay, I think I feel
you.
better now. I'm glad you survived, though, Blessing.
barely did.
Lego Builder's Journey, it was developed by Lightbrick Studio, and they are part of just the Lego kind of in-house, whatever the hell they do. And I didn't know what I was getting into. It's a puzzle game. Every little scene is its own level. And as you go through it, it is sort of telling this really cool, interesting story that you just would not expect. I didn't know really what I was getting into. And 10 minutes in, I've got tears in my eyes because that title card hits and it's beautiful. And it is a lovely story about a parent and their son or daughter, and you are kind of having this neat little campfire journey, and then the dad kind of has to go to work, and the kid is all sad, and then the kid makes his own fun. But you see sort of the monotony of the dad's job, and then you see the kid.
Don't get choked up now. Don't get choked up now.
I'm getting so emotional, everybody. Sorry. Take a swig of my Mountain Dew. But yeah, so it's only about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and I highly recommend it to anybody who has the means of playing it. Obviously, on Switch, it's gonna look the way it's gonna look on Switch, but on PC, it is stunning. Like I carrot in my. Had a carrot in my throat.
Do you need to go?
Imagine
Do you go to the bathroom for a bit? We can talk about another game. You can come back to this.
I think I'm done every time, and then the carrot just kind of resurfaces, peeks from behind my uvula, or what's it called back there?
Nope,
Oh, you got it, right?
no.
The dingly thing at the back of your throat.
Yeah, uvula. Did you think I was saying vulva, Greg?
Well, that's got a V in it, you know.
Uvula. Anyway, yeah, I highly recommend it. I think I paid I think it's maybe $20. I bought it on Steam. Again, if you have a decent machine that is capable of running ray tracing. Now, granted, there is DLSS, so if you want to experience all the beautiful visuals without taxing your computer like crazy, definitely check that out. Again, Tim, I think you need to play it. You have a PC that can do this, and it's only 2 to 3 hours. Like,
this looks awesome.
I'm pretty stupid at puzzle games, and after I went back and kind of watched through my playthrough, it was so obvious the stuff that I was missing just because I decided to play it like at 1 a.m. So you could probably get it done in around 2. It took me about 3 because I'm just stupid. But it's fantastic. It is adorable. And again, it's just stunning to look at, dude. You can't believe that it's real with what you're looking at. Gamers, I highly recommend you check it out because YouTube videos won't do it justice. Like it just
this is what I'm showing here. Like I've seen screenshots and shit, and it's like the video that we're showing right now is like not even close to showing how pretty it is.
Really? Yeah. And the video you're showing looks really beautiful. Like just from the video, I was like, this looks awesome.
It still looks great, but if you could play it at a much higher resolution and you're playing it natively, please do so because it is fantastic and emotional and really cool and just creative as hell. And something I did not expect. Again, it was Jeff Grubb's tweet that kind of pointed me to it, and after Googling, it's only 2 to 3 hours. I was like, "Fuck it, I gotta try this out." So,
Apple
really
Arcade
cool, really cool tech demo also for your computer.
I'm just so happy this type of game exists. Greg said Apple Arcade.
Oh yeah, Apple Arcade, and iOS is where it first came out in 2019, but the ports just came out, I believe, 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago. Daniel Dwyer crying as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, it makes sense, man. Like this looks. I love the idea of a story. There's no dialogue, right? It's just.
No dialogue. The music's fantastic. It's got its own little soundtrack. It's up on Spotify as well, but it has a very very mellowed out soundtrack with all the nice little ASMR clicks and all the Lego pieces hitting each other, and it's so delightful. It could be like a short Pixar movie. It's really damn good.
Yeah, that's actually what I get the vibe from. I get like kind of Pixar meets Captain Toad Treasure Tracker a little bit. Have you played that, Andy?
No, I have not. You got a carrot in your throat?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jesus Christ, did Andy just send the carrot over to you?
No, I didn't play Captain Toad. I didn't have a Wii U at the time, and now it's on Switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I never picked it up. No, I only got this because it is as short as it is, and I said, hey, you know what? Fuck it. If I only have to do puzzles for 2.5 hours, somebody who isn't into puzzles, I'll go ahead and check it out. But yeah, I think you would really enjoy it, Tim, for sure.
Yeah, I'm 100% playing.
Like, make Gia sit down there with you. She will cry, dude. Like, it's beautiful. It's really
torture.
Cool.
I love it. Greg, I want to let you get off the bench. You haven't talked about Sea of Thieves. I know you've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves, and I want to hear all about it. But before you tell me about it, let me tell you about our sponsor.
This podcast is brought to you by Upstart. When it comes to paying off debt, it can often feel like an uphill battle. High interest rates resulting in minimum monthly payments keeps you in an endless cycle of debt. Upstart can help get you ahead. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get a simple fixed monthly payment. Unlike other lenders, Upstart looks at more than just your credit score, like your income and employment history. This means they can offer you smarter rates with trusted partners. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate upfront for loans between $1,000 and $50,000. I've talked about it a million times, but Upstart would have helped me when I moved to SF, had to take out a personal loan a long time ago, and they did not look at my employment history. I got a bad rate. This would have been beneficial for me. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/kindafunny. That's all one word. That's upstart.com/kindafunny. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/kindafunny. Our next sponsor is Credit Karma. Credit Karma has always been there to help you make better financial decisions, and now they want to help even more. Credit Karma Money is a brand new checking account where you can win cash reimbursements for making purchases. When you use your Credit Karma Money debit card, you can win daily instant Karma purchase reimbursements on items of up to $5,000. Credit Karma Money has already given away over $3 million in instant Karma to over 50,000 Credit Karma members and counting. Right now, visit creditkarma.com/winmoney to open your free account and start winning instant karma. Go to creditkarma.com/winmoney to sign up for free and start winning instant karma. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney. Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules. Banking services provided by MVB Bank Incorporated, member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply. And our final sponsor of the day, ladies and gentlemen, why it's Freshly. We're all trying to get in shape and eat right. Freshly can help. Their delicious meals are designed by nutritionists and cooked by chefs, making it easier to eat better. Freshly offers chef-made, nutrient-packed, delicious meals delivered fresh to your door. No cooking required. Grocery shopping and cooking can be a pain, especially right now. And with Freshly, you don't have to. Your meals arrive cooked and fresh every week, so you can keep your fridge stocked and skip the trip to the store. Ordering is easy. Visit freshly.com and choose from over 30 delicious, satisfying, better-for-you meals like steak peppercorn, sausage baked penne, or their chicken pesto bowl. Real quick, I bought this for my father. His birthday came around, and he works on a construction site and comes home, and the last thing I think he wants to do is cook and get into all that stuff. So I bought him a Freshly subscription. Every week I pick the meals he gets. He gets a box of 6 delicious meals delivered to his door. Right now, Freshly is offering our listeners $40 off your first 2 orders when you go to freshly.com/kinda. Stop stressing about dinner. Go to freshly.com/kinda for $40 off your first 2 orders. That's freshly.com/kinda for $40 off your first 2 orders.
Fantastic save there, Greg. Fantastic. That was good.
Oh, I wasn't going to. I know.
Oh, okay. Hit me with it. Sea of Thieves. You're playing. You got your motley crew. You're on the 7 Cs.
The high seas.
How into Sea of Thieves am I, ladies and gentlemen?
Okay.
You might be saying, Greg, how much could it go? I went and got the damn Xbox headset, all right?
Whoa,
so I can actually do
wow.
Discord and listen to the game from the couch, all right? Because I streamed it the other day. I did a rare nightly stream on Saturday where I played some with
Developed by
Mike and Fran Mirabella. What, to Devolver better?
No, he's developed by Rare.
Developed by Rare.
Oh, you said you had a rare night.
I see you today. Because I wanted to be able to talk and not have to drag my computer over there and do a bunch of other different stuff, or whatever. Sea of Thieves caught me totally off guard. Obviously, a game we've heard about for years and years and years and years now. But I remember when it originally came out, when it originally dropped, and having the conversation with people of like, okay, cool, like, what is this game? And people are like, oh, content light right now. You're just running around doing this thing. There's no progression system, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh, well, clearly not for me then, and bounced without ever having anything to do with it. If you remember, we were going to do a long time ago, we were going to do a party mode, Andy. And we had everything, Kevin set everything up for about 2 hours. We had pirate costumes we had ordered. We were sitting there ready for anything to go. And of course, we got to the final moment to go. They looked at your Xbox for some reason and it didn't have the right thing. And we just said, all right, fine, we're not doing this.
One of the Xboxes was not set to the correct Wi-Fi, so the update had never started. And it was so sad.
Exactly. Now hold on 1 second. Jen, come here. Say hi to Andy. Just talk. Well, here, just talk to him over there for 2 seconds. Just stay, fill the space, Jen.
Oh my God, we just need to pay the repairman.
Take the checkbook. I had requested Jen come take Portillo, and she came down and then just stood there, and I was like, "This isn't the right thing." What I asked. Well, he's trying to break his leg climbing up the stairs.
Repairman.
So, anyways, we had tried to do it there and never did it and moved on with life and never thought about it. And I know there are kind of funny best friends who work at Rare. Hello. And I know at E3's past when they were at the Microsoft Theater, me and Tim were waiting in line for Battletoads, and they came over to me and were like, "Oh my God, hey, we love the shows. Yeah, can you come play?" And we're like, "We'll try to. We're on a schedule." And we never did.
Fuck no, we love PlayStation.
Yeah, fuck off, man. It makes me sick to my fucking stomach to be sitting here right now. Right? Get your Xbox stink off me. Never made it back, yada yada yada. And so watching E3, there's a genuine excitement in my eyes, I feel, when I realize it's Pirates of the Caribbean. Not that I'm the biggest Pirates fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I just thought it was a cool crossover. And then to see what they were doing with it seemed really rad. And it was that fire lit under me of like, all right, cool. I really want to play this. I really want to see what this is all about. And so, had downloaded it, was ready to go. And when it dropped, I jumped in there with Snowbike Mike, and I have fallen in love with Sea of Thieves. Like it's always on the forefront of what I want to play, what I want to do. It's not just the pirate stuff. The first night me and Mike played, it was, he was streaming on his end. I was running through doing all the stuff. And we were doing the actual Pirates of the Caribbean stuff of, the first tall tale, the first like narrative driven thing. And and that Let's Play team, what I keep talking about. And if you didn't know, we did an interview with the devs over on the Xcast on Saturday. You should check out. But the conversation I kept having was very much around the fact that they were, I don't know if I've ever played a video game that nailed the aesthetic of a real life thing like this, where that opening tall tale is so the start of Pirates of the Caribbean, the ride. And it is that idea of like, Tim, you know me pretty well, and you know what I'm an expert at and what I'm not an expert at. And
crying on that ride. Definitely.
For sure. I have scarred memories of it terrifying me, but then you've taken me twice as an adult, and I've had a pretty good time both times.
Survived. Shit your pants.
Yeah, I've survived. Time. Yeah. I've survived, but I meant more the way that I am usually. You're the sound guy, and you're the one who catches this reference or this little thing or this sound cue or whatever. And while Mike and I were playing it on stream, talking to each other, I was stopping him there and being like, "Dude, holy shit, this sounds like the ride, like." The way they're using waterfall noises and dripping, it sounds like we're in the cavern, right? And even the start of it, the first time as you go between the worlds, is so slow. It's very much like that beginning of the game. And then, of course,
people
they have
eating off to the right side.
Yeah, there's some kid crying for no reason.
Smells there.
Yeah. And there's like, the dead men tell no tales. Like that gets said a couple different times, but they have the original audio. And, doing the Xcast with Rare, they were talking about how, they actually went back and they used the original sounds, but then for the sounds they created, they actually went and used the, Disney lot 1968 microphones to get the same sound throughout to make it all like do. That. And so there's that level of detail to it that's super enjoyable. Later on in some of the other tall tales, it's still there too. And like where like there's one part where it was when it was me, Mike, and Fran running around one of the tall tales, it was like, oh, I was explaining to them like, oh, this is that, the girl who was originally being sold, but now she's, the pirate in charge of everything like that. They're making a reference to that, and they do a whole bunch of cool stuff like that, right? All that, I was impressed with the Disney part of it and what they were doing, but playing the Pirates part of it, right, and just jumping into it isn't the same as playing Sea of Thieves, the base game, right? And, me and Mike running around or whatever. So the next day when we went and streamed it on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, which you can now get on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, is the 17-minute clip by Roger, and then the full-blown thing on Kind of Funny Plays. It was oh my God, I get what this game is finally. Because when I stopped playing the pirate stuff and went to bed, I was thinking about it, and it was that thing of I'm having fun, but I still don't know what the objective of this game is. I still don't know what I'm doing in this game. And so when I started with Mike the next day and we were talking about it, I was bringing up the fact of I find it jarring that there's no HUD in the game. Like there really isn't. There's like a little health bar, right? But there's not the compass at the top, the waypoint telling me to go over there, the quest log on the side of the screen, right? It is very much you in the world, you talking to your friends or whatever. And Mike was like, oh, it's kind of by design and blah, blah, blah. And so it was that, and I love all the comments that have been like, Mike's like your fun uncle. And like, as long as you're having fun, little Greggy, because it is Mike putting me into situations and then giving me that little nudge to make the discovery on my own. So it was, we got in there and it's like, all right, cool. Like I had gotten a treasure map and I looked at the map and, it shows you an island with an X on where the treasure's buried. But then it's like, okay, cool. I'm like, it doesn't fill out the compass. It doesn't fill out an on-screen map. Where do I need to go? And Mike's like, well, go to the big map. And I go to the big map, right? And I have a giant map of the area we're in, of the ocean. And so then it's about zooming in and finding on that map the map I have. I have the little map. Where's the island that matches that? All right, there it is. Put a circle around it. And even when you circle it, Tim, it again doesn't throw up on the sea a giant gold pillar. It circles it, and you know that it's southwest of where you are now. So you start sailing, and then you need to go look over the side to look down at the map to be like, all right, cool, hold on, we need to go this way, that way. And so like when it was me, Mike, and Kevin playing, or when it was us and Fran, it was very much like, I'm working the wheel. Fran's calling out, if I need to go southwest or whatever.
Somehow I missed that. I don't know how I missed that
Oh
detail.
yeah, I think we need
Fran's
to go
all in.
I think it's southwest. Maybe it's northeast. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. You turn, Greg. You got to turn, and he'd be like, "You got to turn port." I'm like, "Fran, just call it right or left for this to help me out."
Oh, I love it. Wait, but a question I have about the map thing, though. So you're saying that there's no HUD elements. It's not telling you exactly where to go. Is it telling you though, if you look at your map, you are here?
No. When you look at the big map, like it'll have like where you are. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, it does. It does. It shows you on the thing. On the treasure map, it wouldn't. On the big map, you see your ship. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Good.
And so that's how
that sounds like crazy.
Somebody's navigating off of that, letting you know where you're going or whatever, right? But it's part of that's the discovery of it, right? Because and then when we got to the island and I went over there and I pulled out my shovel and I dug into the ground and I heard the thunk of the treasure chest and I did it and pulled it up, and then I run it back to the ship, and then you got to take it from your ship back to a port to drop it off, and then you can get attacked and people can take it. And on top of that, if you're getting attacked, or more likely with us, you run into the rocks, right? You go into the hull of your ship and there's holes and there's water pouring in, so you have to go to the barrel full of wood, Tim, and you get the 2x4s and you come over and you nail them onto the hole. Then you have to take out your bucket and scoop up the water and throw it over the side. And it was like, there are all these different little systems that come into play to give it this game of such a unique feeling. Andy Cortez, number one gamer.
Are you getting shit on by other players in the world?
Yes. Not all the time by any stretch of the imagination, but I have had, people that say, I'm not usually the multiplayer guy, and I know that's fishy these days, but I'm not usually drawn to the, oh man, I want to make sure I'm playing with other people. When it's been me, Mike, and a crew, we're in a big ship, and usually we're fine, and we're not getting into trouble. I've played solo a few times, and 2 of those times ended with me, getting just dominated. Where I had a bunch of skulls for these. I had killed the pirates. I had done the bounty. I'd gotten the reward for it already. But then on top of that, you can scoop up their skulls and go back and sell them to get even more gold, even more reputation. And so I had my captain's quarters with like 3 skulls in them, and I was taking them back to port. And as I was on approach, I was coming in and I was like, all right, finally here. And again, like it takes a while to sail. Tim, it's Wind Waker kind of sailing, where it's, you know what I mean? Like you're out on the seas for a while, because it is, first off, beautiful, and it is so much fun to do. At one point I'd gotten lost in a storm, and like when you're doing it, there's a compass down here on your on the side of your wheel, and when you're in the storm, the boat's spinning around and the compass is just out of control spinning, and it was like trying to orient myself and not get slammed in the rocks, figure out where I was going. It was great. Anyways, I'm coming into port on this one, and as I'm coming up, I'm like, oh man, that's cool. I've never seen green fireworks before. They're firing green fireworks. And then I was like, oh no, they're not firing green fireworks. They have the Atlantean trident weapon that I hadn't even met yet. They were firing it at me. They fucking killed me. They took over the ship. They went and got the skulls. I respawned on the ship. They were still there. They killed me again. The ship's sinking. I respawned back on the ship, killed me again. It was like, all right. And it's not even trolling. Like the game is Sea of Thieves. It's meant to be a bunch of pirates. And what I love about coming into a game that's this established and has this kind of player base already, on Saturday of this past weekend, they put up a tweet and it was like, hey, a lot of new players are pulling up their anchors this weekend. Like, what advice do you have? And as a new player, I went through and read a whole bunch of it because it was legitimate advice. It wasn't just yelling about content like the Avengers tweets usually are. And it was game tweet. Exactly a different audience for sure. But one of the kids put in there like, it's not about gold, it's about glory. And so like, you have to embrace the fact that you're going to get sandbags, you're going to get attacked, you're going to get outfoxed on the seas. And so
I would tell that person, chill out. Okay, it's just a game. All right, relax.
Well, sure, but I mean that's how it felt of just a game of like, cool, I lost those skulls, but I lost 300 gold per skull. Like it's not the end of the world. And it is that idea of it gave me a story to tell. The whole game is designed to be water cooler moments. It's meant to be, you have all these different sandbox elements that you come together and they happen out there in real time, and then you have something about it. So like, when Kevin joined us via the cloud and got on there. And then like it's in Roger's breakout video of Kevin. Or no, it's not actually. I almost run in the breakout video. I almost run into the rocks when Kevin's telling me about it. And another time I totally ignore Kevin. And he's like, rocks, just smash into it. The ship's all fucked up. You know what I mean? Like it is about it is very much the, you know, the real funny how pirates hunt treasure, right? When the real treasure was the time they spent with each other along the way. Like it was. So it is so that, and it is so like it is fun to play alone. You know, the other time I played alone, it was a similar experience where I was like, I was having a couple hours of just, you know, running missions, doing gold, whatever, and then on approach of another island, another ship came up, and it was the same thing of like, you know, I see something on the horizon, I break out my little spyglass, I look across the thing, I'm like, shit, and sure as shit, these guys are coming right at me.
Being like,
yeah, and I was like, there's that moment in my smaller ship of do I, you know, try to run to the island? Do I try to outmaneuver them? I tried to outmaneuver them. They blew me out of the water.
No.
But that's
you never
know,
had
part
your
of the
car.
thing.
You never had your boat.
I never had my boat. I never had my boat.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's this really both. It's super relaxing because it is. I mean, at its core, I was trying to explain it to Jen, right? And of course, you know, Jen helps make games. So when I was like, there's no progression system, she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're not leveling up. It's not, when I lose to someone against the boat, it's not that they're level 100 and I'm level 2. That doesn't exist. They have the same weapons and stuff I do. They just know tactics better. There's 3 of them. 2 of them are manning cannons while I'm trying to keep the boat straight and also get to my cannons to shoot them and stuff like that. Like,
wait, there's not even like an upgrade of weapons where maybe they have.
No, it's
like
all
maybe
cosmetic.
You just have a stupid little pistol, but they have like cool
the
rifles.
thing, that Atlantean thing I talked
about
about is the most, from what I understand and what Mike had mentioned. It like now that the Dead Man's Quest or the Pirate's Life stuff is happening, like sometimes you can run into the mer people to get that thing, to have that thing, but that's not like by design. Most of the time, it is that we all have the same. You know, you have a choice between a sniper rifle, a pistol, a musket, your sword or whatever, and then any change to them is just cosmetic in terms of what it is.
So that's not the only pirate game you've been playing, though, Greg. What do you want to tell us about Overboard?
Sure. Overboard's not a pirate game. It is a game on the water, though. I said nautical, Greggy. I didn't say pirate. I've had a nautical time. In the lead up to E3, I said, hey, what are some good Switch games to load up on to have for this trip to LA and to be on set and do stuff? And a lot of people called out Overboard. I think Barrett has trailers for it. If you're not familiar, though, the idea here is, as you see it now, this adventure strategy game, but I describe it as a narrative roguelike, where the idea here is that the game starts the same way every time. You're this woman in red, right? You've murdered your husband, and now you have to get away with it. And you're on a ship, and there's all these different characters there. And so you play. I think the developers have talked about it. Inkle is their developer name, right? Yeah, Inkle. They've talked about it on their official pages and stuff. But they say it's like 30, 45 minutes for a game or whatever. But the idea is that in the game, everything has a currency to it of time. And so you wake up and it's like there's a million different ways it can go or whatever, but you wake up in your room, you've killed your husband, and one of the stewards is knocking on your door. And so it's like, do you ignore it? Do you talk to him? If you talk to him, what is this Overboard trailer? If you talk to him, right, what are you going to do with this information? Are they remaking Overboard from the Goldie Hawn movie?
Greg Miller, what if I told you they remade Overboard?
They already remade Overboard. I didn't know that.
2018, maybe 2018.
Oh wow, I gotta watch the remake of Overboard. It's got Anna Faris in it. Now you're talking. Okay, cool.
Barrett, you can bring back the game now. You can bring it back.
Anyways, though, like the idea is that, you know, you'll do this playthrough and you get to the end and there's, you know, the giant meeting of all the guests on the ship and the, you know, the petty officer or whatever. And, you know, did you get away with it? Did you pin it on somebody else? Are they even aware you're a part of it? Right. And what'll happen is, like, you know, my first playthrough, one of the guys had found my diamond earrings on the deck in the morning. And so that was like a key piece of information that when I denied killing my husband, they were like, no, he went overboard and we have this thing. We know you were there. Why are you lying about it? And they were able to, you know, trace it back to this other lie. Right. So when I started the next time, when it ended and I went to jail or whatever, when the next gameplay ended, right, I beelined from my room up to the deck. So I spent the first 15 minutes in quotes of the game, right? Or of the time of being on the ship, rather than talking to the steward. I cut him off really quick or whatever, ran upstairs, got the earring. And then when I ran into the guy, he hadn't found the earring. So I was able to talk my way out of that. But that burned the amount of time for me to meet this other character at her room. And so since I couldn't do that, I couldn't have the same conversation. So it's like you play it over and over again, and you keep finding different ways to go, and the game keeps upping the ante. Where the second time I got out of going to prison or whatever, I got out of being the murderer, and I was like, all right, a perfect crime, but it ends and it's like, well, it would have been, this is good, but what if you had put her in jail? What if you had pinned the murder on her? What if you had done this? You still didn't get the money, and it's like, oh shit. So it's like, as you go, you start figuring out the golden path of what is going to get me out of here with the life insurance, get somebody else charged for the crime, and get me to freedom, right? And you start learning, a character that you thought was being flirty for no reason, right? It turns out maybe you have a relationship with that person, you didn't know it yet, right? Like all these different story narrative threads start getting pulled on if you tug on them. So it's this really fascinating idea of playing through this game with the objective of, okay, cool, how do I get out of, how do I get away with murder? But also then, wait, what is this? You don't even meet all the characters in your first couple playthroughs. You need to go out of your way and meet them at certain rooms at certain times to do that. And you piece that together, obviously, by what people say, or you have to, you're keeping track and keeping notes of what's going on.
Is it different every time you play? Like when you go back in, do they just rearrange all the characters and what the stories are?
No, the stories are all the same, but it's more about you than knowing, okay, you can start using that information for you, right? Of you'll be like, oh, well, no, I don't know. He just went to breakfast, and the guy will be like, I've been at breakfast all day. Like there was nobody ever came in. You're like, oh, don't say that next time, right? You start using
second
that kind
breakfast.
Of information.
Gotcha.
Yeah, second breakfast.
Do you feel like you've hit sort of all of the end game scenarios, or do you know if you've hit a lot of the possibilities there? Or
I have not spent hours and hours with it. I've probably done 3 or 4 playthroughs, 5 maybe, with the trip back or whatever. It's more of just this thing of it being an ingenious concept, I think, and a really cool way to play it.
How long does it take for each little?
They say 30 to 45. I think it really depends on what you're trying to do. Because I was doing some of the, kind of like in Returnal, where you're like, I just want to grind out this one thing, or I just want to get this one thing. Start setting smaller goals. It was more like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm going to focus all my stuff on this, and this is not going to be a playthrough where I try to actually get away with murder. I'm going to instead try to figure out what is going on in this one room with this one guy.
Damn, that sounds like kind of what you're supposed to do in Deathloop.
Yeah,
going out and really concentrating on maybe just one person for this one run, or not run. I know it's not a roguelite, but concentrate on that little mystery to sort of get information that you've been missing for the last 2 playthroughs or whatever.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. The art style does not look like it is that vibe at all.
Yeah, the art style is very, cartoony, but it's got that it's got that noir film, 50s flair to it or whatever. It doesn't, not the filter of noir, but her big hat, her big dress, right? This idea, it seems, and even with the spinning newspaper that opens every time, that kind of gives you an update of what's going on. It feels like it's giving you that serial drama kind of thing.
I could see a community college pamphlet in that art style, where they're come here and be a part of this, and it's just it's always very multicultural, because they want to be hey, we have everybody here. This is community college, man, and it's always that sort of art style. It's either that or medicine or insurance, one of those two.
Check into cash.
Mm-hmm.
Check into cash. I don't want to go on too long about this, but I feel like I have to. I got it. Everybody, Tony Housekeeping, Ditto 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch. And honestly, all I really have to say about this is I am utterly shocked at how high quality this Switch port is. It freaking works. Obviously, the graphics are not 4K. They're barely 720. Everything is toned down. The textures do not look great because it is a Switch game. It runs like a fucking dream. They're sticking to 30 frames per second, which is extremely hard to get used to after playing 60 for a year at this point, but it fucking works. And if you just played this as your first time, it's fantastic. Super high quality game. Highly recommend people give it a shot. And it being on the Switch, there's the pros and cons, right? Obviously I'd prefer 60 frames. Obviously I prefer all the HD and all that stuff. But the portability, I can't argue with that. This is going to be something that I'm just going to have in my Switch pack for the rest of my life.
Have it on the airport and do a couple runs and shit. That's
exactly. Great. I love it. It's a little not great when you're on the Joy-Con. That's the Joy-Con's fault, though, just with how the buttons work. But getting a Pro controller, it's super fantastic. And honestly, any controller besides the Joy-Cons has been great. The loading is a little slower than I've been used to on the PS5, but I've been playing the hell out of this game on the PlayStation 5 upgrade version. Yes. I have that as well.
God, he's got the box
You know,
copy of
yeah,
that too.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
after already playing.
This guy's
Oh
unstoppable.
my God, the PS4 too.
version. I need to support them, even though they're dead.
Some Janet Garcia level of visual gags.
But playing through them, it's like I've seen the enhancements and being so used to everything. They're not being loading in the PS5 version, and it just running so buttery smooth. To play this, I was kind of like, oh, what are we gonna get ourselves into? And I'm like, holy shit, this is hella good. So shout out to them, man. Their Crash 4 Switch port was great too. The Insanity Crash Team Racing and all the ports that Activision's been doing on the Switch, I've been really impressed by. I'm easily most impressed by this one though, and I definitely think it's something you guys should check out. Bless, did you get a chance to play at all?
No, I've not booted it up yet. I want to because when it came out on PS4, I played the hell out of it, but I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 specifically because that's the one I have the most nostalgia for between 1 and 2. But I haven't revisited 1 in forever, and so I think the Switch version is actually the one I'm going to go to in order to play through 1. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. The one thing that I wish, and I know that I'm asking a lot, but I feel like at this point it's not that much, is I really wish there was some type of cross save. If I could play my Switch version and have it help me get that damn level 100 on my PlayStation for the trophy, it would just be the best world ever. I would play probably 100 more hours, man.
But look at it this way, Tim. It could also go the other way, real easy, where you put in the whatever 100 hours you need on Switch, but you pop it there, and then when you transfer the save over to the PlayStation doesn't see it, you can never get that trophy. So don't open Pandora's box. All right,
You're right.
Go either way. The door's open both ways.
So many options. Okay, enough of that. Andy, you want to talk about Valorant? There's a new update that happened. You've been playing. I know Bless has been playing a little. You got Nick into this somehow. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, Nick's super into it. So basically, Valorant Season 3 started, and Riot completely changed the way the game works in every way. They changed a lot of character abilities. They sort of like nerfed some characters. They buffed some characters. They changed the way the whole buy system works. Essentially, Valorant is a attack and defend game. You attack and try to plant a bomb on either side A or side B for 13 rounds, and then you flip sides and you do the same thing for 13 rounds. Depending on if the game ends early or whatever. But I think Valorant has been looking at the way that the game has been played and decided that a big change was made. So you as a character, it's very Overwatch style. Like every agent has their own abilities. Every agent has their own specialties. And I think Riot looked at that and said that maybe players are using too many abilities and maybe we should make the abilities more expensive. So when a round starts, you're given an amount of money and you can buy a gun and you could also buy a shield and you can also buy some abilities, and those abilities vary. Those abilities are either a character has a flash that makes the screen all white and then you can get shot, or a character might have a big cloud of smoke that they can cover certain areas with to get more of a tactical advantage. And Riot made a lot of the abilities very expensive. And I think in a way that more so that players can kind of lean on the gunplay aspect of it, because that's what they want. They want this game to be all about gunplay. So all of the abilities are very expensive now. They changed the prices on weapons as well. They changed the way ranked works. There's a lot of things in ranked where if you happen to lose a match, the ranked system has been pretty bad, Greg, where if you're the worst player on your team but your team wins, you get a lot of points boosted up. And you could do that.
Please don't do this to me. I'm not this good.
You could do that forever and just run with a really good squad, and you are going up a lot. Sure. And they completely changed the way that works. So now if you happen to win a match, there's a lot of times also if you're on the losing side, but you are the top fragger, you're like the best on your squad. Even if you lose like a close match, you don't lose a whole lot of rank points. It used to be that like pretty much everybody loses the same amount of points no matter how they did if you lost the game, which isn't really fair for the person who popped off and maybe the rest of their team didn't do too great.
Sure.
But the same goes for the worst player on a team. If your team wins and you did terribly, you don't automatically get a huge boost in rank points. I think it's definitely a great step in the right direction to make ranked feel better, to make rank feel more worth it to play. I still think I think they need to crack down more on people smurfing and using, there's so many people who are rank platinum, and then they get stuck there for a while. So they go, I'm gonna make a new account, and they rank up that account, and then here I am playing with Blessing for his first time, and maybe Nick is in for his first time, and suddenly we are getting shit on by some person who does not belong in our league at all. And I think they need to crack down on that. I don't know how they do it, whether it's like you maybe tag your machine to your IP or whatever. Like, there's just got to be a way to do this and fix it to make the experience more enjoyable. They also included introduced a new character named KO. He's like a robot. He's got a bunch of sick ass abilities. He could be resurrected, which is pretty neat. He's got this sort of knife that he throws, and everybody that gets hit by the knife in this big sort of area of effectiveness, they can't use their abilities for a certain amount of time. He's super sick. He's super cool. The voice acting's dope. And yeah, I think Valorant is as strong as it's been, and I'm having a lot of fun playing it, and I'm having a blast getting Bless into it, and I hope that we kind of continue playing. And Nick has kind of been into it as well, shockingly, and we played some today on stream. It was a lot of fun.
Bless, why are you feeling it? Is it hooking you?
It's hooking me a little bit. Yeah, I think it's been fun to try and get into as a game that I feel like I'm completely terrible at, but I know that's part of the game. You know, for the type of game that it is, it's very much trying to harken back to something like Counter-Strike and something that's a super hardcore first-person shooter. And so, like, it being that, it also being a mouse and keyboard PC game, I feel like there's so many barriers between me and actually like getting good at this game, which has been a fun thing to kind of grapple with. But the actual game mechanics themselves, I would say, it's been a really fun game to play, especially with Andy teaching me like, oh, well, on this round, we're actually not gonna buy anything so we can save our money for the next round, because at this point all of us are broke, and so it's better to try to go in this round with all pistols instead of trying to spend our money on machine guns or whatever. Like having Andy and having other folks who have played before be there to kind of guide and teach the ropes has made it way more of, I think, of a tolerable experience than it would have been otherwise, because it seems so hardcore. And I think part of that too is that I'm playing while queued up with Andy, which might be matching me with people that are way higher level, and so I'm going in with people who actually know how to play the game, which is a really interesting thing. But yeah, no, it's been a blast. I do like how technical it is. I do enjoy too that, like, there's so much to learn in this game. Andy has been trying to drill into my head, and Nick said, and all the new folks that have been jumping in, like, hey, there's wild gun spray in this game, which has been a fun thing for me to try and get used to. Because for me, I'm so used to playing Apex Legends, where I'm jumping all over the place. I was just playing arenas because they added the Skulltown map right before this, so I was playing a little bit of that. And in that game, I'm flying all over the place. I'm sliding all over the place. In gunfights, I'm so used to trying to get better positioning as soon as I see an opponent, so that I'm harder to hit, and I'm more focused on getting into a better position than I am even on getting the hit. And in Valorant, it's kind of the exact flip, where you want to stand still when you're getting your shots off. Otherwise, if you're moving while shooting, your spray is all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's another thing that they nerfed really strongly is the run and gun. There are a lot of pros that have moved to Valorant from Counter-Strike and have said, like, you all got to fix this run and gun. Like, people are killing me and they're running by a hallway. Like, that shouldn't happen. The accuracy should be wild. Like, if you're running, your gun spray, your bullets should be hitting like 5 feet in every other direction. You should not be able to kill somebody like that. So they completely reworked the way run and gun works. So it's even harder now, Blessed, to like try to get away with a kill as you're running.
I feel that's so hard, because it goes against every single thing I know when it comes to playing the first person shooters the way I like to play first person.
Oh
shooters.
Yeah, I mean, coming from Overwatch, the other day when we did our first stream, I did 2 hours on the Kind of Funny stream for Valorant, and then I went to go do the GameSpot Play for All for Able Gamers thing with Lucy and James Willems and Tamor and a bunch of the homies. And it was like, oh shit, this is a different game. I can run and jump and click heads, and it doesn't really matter what my movement is, because I'm not being penalized. I'll go with penalized. That sounds better. So yeah, it's
Europeans maybe say penalized.
Huh. How about that? How about Gary Witta freaking out about that soccer game today, Greg? I'm going a little too
I
crazy.
think he calls it
I
football.
muted Gary a while back just 'cause I don't want to hear his stupid shit takes or see his sausages all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway, I think Valorant's fantastic. Bless, you are in the exact same spot that I was last year. When Valorant came out, I had been playing on keyboard mouse for maybe about a week. But here's the difference, Bless. You're hopping in with me, who's like barely better than you. I was hopping into games with Alfredo and his crew, and it was a fucking nightmare. Because not only had I just started playing keyboard mouse, but it was my first tactical game. I never played CS. I didn't play Rainbow Six. And so holding angles and watching like areas, like I'm just not that type of gamer. So the amount of times that I would do dumb shit and hear Fredo be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "I don't fucking know." Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Like, that's how I feel. Like, anytime I do, like, there was one time we were playing the other day where I got a double kill, and it felt like the greatest thing in the world. Even though, like, in any other game, I can get a double kill all day, but like in this game, I get one double kill, and I'm like, thank God, I finally did something.
That's the high you chase. That's the high you chase, man.
Like that's the level of difficulty I feel like there is for me learning this game. And I had like Counter-Strike, I've never jumped too deeply into. I think I tried it once or twice back in the day, but then Rainbow Six Siege is a game that I played quite a bit of, and I can have I'm not great in Rainbow Six Siege, but I can have my good days in that game enough to where I don't feel as self-conscious jumping in. Valorant is one where I jump in and I'm like, all right, if I come out of this 13 round match with 5 kills, I'm calling it a good day, you know. And like it's one of those ones where the enjoyment I'm getting out of it is learning on a very like basic level what the actual, like, how to actually play this game. And I'm excited to learn more and like get to the place where I feel like I am playing like who was it? Was it Tucker that was getting a high amount of kills the other day? Like, I want to get to that level, and it would be cool to learn enough so I can get to that level. But that's where the fun is coming in for me.
It's definitely the type of game that when you die, if Mike dies, Mike, who's played a bit more than Bless, but not a whole lot, Mike will die and I'll go, all right, what did we learn there? Right? Like, because every time you die, there is a lesson to be taught. You were out in the open, or you were pushing 2 people that you shouldn't have been pushing because they knew you were there, or you made noise so they knew you were in a corner.
That's another thing is like there's a lot of walking in this game that I'm not used to as well. Like, you're holding shift to walk.
You hold shift so that you don't make noise. And so like every time you die, there's a lesson to learn. And it's a maddening fucking game. It can be so frustrating, but when you're doing well and you're helping the team, and that one ability that you shot happened to like weaken that person and somebody else got a kill, like all that stuff feels so it just feels so like good, satisfying. And you feel satisfied to help the squad and get the big dub. We had a huge comeback win that everybody can go watch on youtube.com/kindoffunnyplays, and it was so much fun. Like, Nick fucking clutched up so hard, dude. It was great. Awesome.
When are we getting Nick on here to talk about the fact that he's a full-fledged gamer?
He's just on, man. We got to do it soon. We should. Let's let him play a couple more. What I really want to do is get Halo Infinite in Nick's hands, because that's the thing for me that I hope happens. Because if he sticks through with this, because he's making the jump to Valorant, he can jump anywhere, man. He's gonna be bopping back and forth. I love that over the course of this Gamescast, we learned that Snowbike Mike is Greg's fun uncle, but Andy is Snowbike Mike's father. So there's a lesson to be learned, my son. What is it?
Yeah, exactly.
What does that make Andy to Greg?
I don't know. I didn't want to go there,
I'm his
but I'm
daddy.
happy someone asked.
Wait, no, he'd be my grandfather.
Great grandfather, though, right? Or no, I guess just grandfather.
No, if Snowbike Mike's my uncle,
Like,
then he's got a brother that is my dad. And then if
You're
Andy is Snowbike
This
Michaels,
has been the kind of funny Gamescast. Thank you so
who
much
was
for
Andy
hanging out
fucking to
with
make
us.
all these people? That's what I want to know. All right.
We are about to do the exclusive post show for
If Andy's the dad of Snowbike Mike, who's the mom?
/ kind of funny games. We appreciate all of you. Thank you, boys, for joining me this week. We'll be back next week.
Wait, did you give the birth?
Virgin birth, yeah.
Were you the
Oh
virgin?
wow, jeez.
Who could say?
Say.